I've been using the RainMachine Mini-8 smart sprinkler controller for the past couple weeks, and I really enjoy it. I think it stacks up very nicely to its big brother, the RainMachine HD12, that was one of the first sprinkler controllers that I ever reviewed on this channel, and that I really liked. The Mini-8 is basically the same thing as the RainMachine HD12. It just doesn't have the LCD touchscreen and the display panel that kind of shows you all the charts and graphs that the HD12 has. And the HD12 has 4 more zones. But this little Mini-8 has manual control. You can flip through your zones on the machine, click the watering button, and it'll run a little 5-minute cycle for you. And that's about the only difference. This thing's software is exactly the same as the HD12 software. You're using the same exact app, so it has all the programming functionality of the big brother. So this is an interesting thing because the RainMachine HD12 was the first smart sprinkler controller that I reviewed on this channel, and now I've reviewed 4 or 5 controllers between that, and now I'm kind of coming back to the RainMachine app and getting back into it and taking a look at it. And I was kind of it's kind of funny because my rosy view of what the RainMachine was kind of got a little bit tarnished, because as of right now, the RainMachine really doesn't have smart watering in the same sense as some of the other apps. So I talk about the Ratio a lot. The Ratio has this whole process where you say, okay, my soil's clay, it gets this much sun, yada yada yada. And it kind of sets up an idea of how much water each zone will take. The Blossom does the same thing, where you kind of go through that tutorial. The RainMachine still has kind of sort of smart watering, where if it's hot out, it'll water more. If it's raining, it won't water. But that whole idea of set it and forget it, and not having to go through all setting up my zones manually and saying, okay, I guess 30 minutes in each zone is right, is still a factor with the RainMachine. But I have gone back and forth with the guys at RainMachine, and they did give me like a tiny sneak peek that there will be a little smart watering feature in an upcoming app update. This review did not make the cut for that app update. By the time you're watching this, maybe that app update is out. I'll probably make a video on the app update when that comes out, because I'm going to try to kind of go back to some of the different smart sprinkler controllers I've reviewed and to see how they evolve. Because there's one thing, if you go back to the reviews of the RainMachine or the Ratio, when they first start out, the reviews are always really hard. They're really just like beating these things up, and they're constantly evolving. So there's always updates, there's always improvements, and these companies are listening to their users. The RainMachine guys have been really good with me. I've gone back and forth a lot of times with the RainMachine guys, and I really like them, and I really think it's a great product that is constantly evolving. So installing, very simple. Push in the wires, mount it to the wall, get it on Wi-Fi, get it going. The app is easy. Everything about it is very streamlined and very easy to do. A big plus about the RainMachine devices, whether it's the HD12 or the Mini-8, they're both EPA WaterSense certified. That means that you can get a pretty good discount on the controller if you look up your water company's rebates online. So my personal water company that serves me here in Vallejo, California, will allow you to get a half off a smart sprinkler controller up to about $250, I think. So they say, oh, okay, so this sprinkler controller is $250, we'll give you $125. If they come out and like look at my zones and see how I have it set up. So you have to jump through some hoops to do it, but for half off, it's a very good deal. And there are quite a few smart sprinkler controllers out there that don't have EPA WaterSense certification, so it actually means something. Like I said, the app is easy to get set up, and it's also beautiful to use. I really love all the charts and graphs with the Ratio. And inside the app, it's great. And even outside the app on the website, it almost looks better to me. I like the bigger screen and seeing all the charts and graphs. So one other thing that the RainMachine doesn't have quite yet that is kind of a big deal to me personally, maybe it's not a big deal to you, is that it doesn't have push notifications, and it doesn't have if this then that integration. So if watering starts, you don't get a notification on your phone. You have to actually go into the app and kind of check on it to see if watering has started. The Ratio does have push notifications where it's like, all right, started 4 zones, watering program right now. And then when it finishes, it also sends a push notification. Like I said, I talked to the RainMachine guys, and they say this feature is coming eventually, that there will be if this then that hooks. So if watering starts, send me an email, do a tweet, you know, your imagination is basically endless on what could happen when you integrate with if this then that. So I think that's kind of a big deal for me personally. Maybe it's not a big deal for you, but rest assured it is coming. So one thing that I found funny about some of the reviews on Amazon about the Mini 8 were that it was easy to jump in and it's easy to set up a program. And some people would rather just get in there and set up a manual program and say water zone 1 for this many minutes, water zone 2. Some of the knocks on the Ratio in some of those reviews were saying like, hey, it took me hours to set up the Ratio because I had to go step by step through every single zone, and I didn't want to do that. I already have my watering schedule down. So for some people, for you, it might actually be better to get the RainMachine and hop in and not worry about all that stuff and just set it and forget it on your own. So I have to say the RainMachine Mini-8 is just as good as the RainMachine HD12. And for some of you, it might be better because you might want to save a couple bucks. The HD12 is about 250 bucks. This is about 175. So if you want to save a nice little chunk of change, you don't need 12 zones, you don't need the touch screen, check this thing out. It's pretty dang good. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.